Yep.
Splatoon testfire / news.
So it was funny, Colin. I didn't even watch Nintendo Direct because I didn't want to hear anything about Splatoon because I'm upset about it just off the cuff because of the last couple of times we covered it. Oddly enough, because we've covered it on the channel and posted up videos, I had people like that were watching specifically for that. And I want to say maybe 4 or 5 different people commented, either tweeted at me or posted on the video saying, "Hey, did you hear about Splatoon? What do you guys think about it? I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say on Frag Logic." And then people were like, "Hey, Splatoon looks awesome. Are you guys going to post videos?" So, look, I want to post videos on it, but Nintendo doesn't want me to post videos on it. So I'm gonna just leave it at that.
It's touchy even having the word Splatoon in the current topic. Hold on one second. Let me just fix that a bit so we don't come up in the search.
Just discussing Splatoon.
Just don't want to come up in the don't want to come up in the Splatoon search results. Otherwise, we might get taken down or get hit up with a copyright thing. So the big news was, well, I don't really. I think most of the stuff was pretty expected. Like the stuff they announced. They announced the test fire stuff, which is they ran like some 1 hour beta periods over the weekend that were free as demo. It's like a free demo. The good thing is they announced they'd be doing free DLC and there'd be maps, weapons, and I think cosmetics. They announced or modes as well.
Yep.
The downside to that is I think they're shipping like 5 or 6 maps, which brings back harkens to Judgment a little too closely. It just hurts me a little bit inside.
Well, Colin, you get to paint the map. You get to design the map. That's what you're going to be doing. You get to design it.
I mean, ultimately, I think that a Splatoon map matters a bit less than a Gears map. You know what I mean? I think, I mean, we'll see if it's actually the case, but I think that because you're painting the map, it's really hard to have a bad map. In Judgment, you could argue that 2 of the 4 maps were bad, just objectively. And then, I don't know, this Splatoon map can really be bad. I think, aside for spawn camping, which came up a little bit during one of the maps for the Cessfire, aside for spawn camping, I don't think there's that many ways they could screw it up. And hopefully the stuff comes pretty quick. I think the Mario Kart stuff came pretty quick after release. So I imagine they have it ready to fire,
That is true.
But the bad news for the weekend was that no custom matches, which I think was expected at this point. But they will bring it in a update later on, I think in August, if I remember
3
right.
months after release.
Yep. Which is the same thing,
Titanfall.
Titanfall. So, I just feel like I'm watching Nintendo make all the mistakes that my other favorite game franchises have made over the last few years. So it's I just have to relive them all for the game that I was excited about and I thought was going to do things well. Although I thought they were going to fuck it up too. So to me, this is the expectation that I had going into a Nintendo shooter. Where it was they're going to fuck it up. And this pretty much fucks it up. And I don't think that they've realized just how badly it fucks it up. Because if Private Matches comes out 3 months after the games come out, no one's going to use the feature. No one's going to be left. Unless the matchmaking is really, really good. Unless matchmaking and the rank stuff they have is really, really good and you always get into good matches, private matches aren't going to have anyone playing in 3 months. Period. That's how it was with Titanfall. And Titanfall is a more competitive game than Splatoon will be, right?
Yeah, completely. Sal, let me be clear. I don't think it's from a dev side. If I talk to Pete right now, I don't think he would say that it's that difficult. What he would say is that it is hard to determine from a design standpoint what settings they want to allow you to have, and that usually trips people up. Do they want to do this? Do they want to do that? What's the right number of items they should have in there? That becomes the question around private matches typically.
It's also a trade-off, right?
Yes.
If you spend time making private matches, it means that you may spend time not making extra features for a shop, for example, which requires lots of UI and programming work. So, it's all trade-offs is what ultimately it comes down to, is, we can do private matches, and then you have some guy somewhere saying, why would we do private matches instead of doing this feature? We're not trying to be competitive. We're not trying to be an esport. Why would private matches be a huge focus when we could put the effort into our back-end stuff and matchmaking and that kind of thing? So, that's the trade-off and the argument you have to make. And that's where it usually comes from, I think.
So, I mean, what hurts me about this is I would rather them not have even said they were going to do this and just ship the way they're going to ship, because now I've already seen this. We've seen this already. Like, we know the outcome. We know the outcome. That's what sucks for me, is like, I know that by the time the game has these features in it in August, like you said, there will be no one left. And we saw with Titanfall, like, they needed that shit as soon as this game came out. They needed it as soon as the game came out. Day one. And there is potential that we could still be playing that game right now.
Potential.
And there's a lot of, I mean, there's not really, if Destiny had not come out, I would still be playing Titanfall.
I'd probably still be playing just in general if they had supported the community a bit better.
And so to see that they are basically aligning themselves the exact same way, like, hey, we can do this, and then we'll probably be able to do it a little bit later. We can add these features a little bit later. For whatever reason, I don't feel like that mentality really works in shooters, unless, one, you have a community that has already been established, so like your Halo or Call of Duty or something like that, or two, the game is so naturally fun and has so many elements that aren't that, like Destiny, for instance, that keep you in there. Now, Colin, here's where things have gotten. Look, listen to me.
I'm sorry.
Listen. Destiny has retained 60% of their community. 60%. Do you know how hard that is to do? This late after launch in this environment? It's pretty difficult. 60% is a lot, dude.
Let me see the numbers. That sounds like spin.
No, it's not.
Sounds like some heavy spin. Heavy spin.
60 fucking percent. All those Destiny haters. 60%.
I need to look at it. That sounds wrong.
It's not wrong.
Sounds already wrong. Unless they're counting like 60% after the first month or something like that. Like that they aren't bleeding tons of users from that number. But the sales? You're telling me it sold all those copies and 60% of people are still playing weekly? There's no way.
The average playtime is 3 hours. They've sold 20 million, or they have 20 million registered accounts to date. So as much as people want to shit on Destiny, that's a lot of people still playing that fucking game.
Oh, I don't believe it. Don't believe it.
I'm just telling you. As much as people hate it, like
I'm gonna look it up. Like I'm not gonna just completely.
There's still dudes logged in, like getting I'm just telling you. So anyway, the thing I'm most concerned about is like if the game's core mechanics aren't fundamentally keeping people in that loop without parties and stuff that we know keeps a shooter active, they'll probably drop off. And so 3 months down the line, I think what's good, Colin, here's what I'm saying is good about this. There's nothing else really out, right? Especially for Nintendo. Like, if you're a Nintendo diehard, then you could be locked into Splatoon no matter what, right?
Realistically, it's like the perfect time for them to release the game. That said, like, I think they're going to struggle to keep people playing for 3 or 4 months with zero social features in a multiplayer shooter. Like, they're going to struggle hard, I think. We'll see. Like, I think the game looks fun. I think the core game looks really exciting. I'm looking forward to playing because it's a very big splash of something new. You know what I mean? Like, it's very different to the traditional shooter. So, like, I'm interested from all those standpoints, as well as just from, like, a game design interest. So I'm definitely going to be playing, but I think they're going to struggle really hard to keep people invested. Unless maybe the ranked and metagame stuff will be really good. Like, that'll be enough, right? But I have my doubts.
I think for Nintendo fans out there, which, by the way, Nintendo is, like, on the up and up. I was looking at some of their coverage from sales.
Positive for the first time.
Yeah. And since 2012.
Yep.
So, you know, I feel like maybe they're starting to gain some momentum, and this could be the one game that sets it apart from all the other Nintendo titles, like in terms of shooters that aren't Call of Duty, because I think Black Ops or whatever was on the Wii. I don't know. I can't even remember all the Call of Duty titles that have launched on Wii or whatever.
It was really bad. Really
bad. I mean, I feel like this is their first opportunity to possibly crack a shooter on Nintendo and possibly gain a lot of momentum behind it because there seems to be a lot of people interested in the game, even that don't own Nintendo systems right now that are like you and I. I mean, I own one, but not
You
those
wouldn't identify as a Nintendo gamer,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. So I look, I'm interested to see what happens with Splatoon, but I can just tell you guys from at least the hardcore crowd, I don't think there's going to be that many of them on there. They're going to look at this and be like, nah, I'm done.
There's a pretty big push from it's like the Smash community, like an offshoot of the Smash community that's kind of picking up Splatoon and kind of start trying to run with it. I know like those guys were still pretty optimistic, even though they announced private matches to be 3 months later.
Yeah.
I know a bit better, I think, just because we've seen it already happen with Titanfall, where it's like even if it's coming, like it's not gonna affect things in time. I feel like, but yeah, I think there's a scene. It's just a matter of if Nintendo, and we talk about it a lot. Like if you want something developed like that, you have to put at least the baseline tools in to make it happen.
Yep.
And it hasn't. Like if there's no LAN support, which is the one that they're kind of pushing for, because it is like a group of Smash guys, right? That's kind of trying to drive it. And they want to be able to do stuff at locals and be able to set up some systems and run an event with LAN, or at least just an online authentication type deal, and then run through matchmaking or run through LAN setup. But if there's not that, right, and you can't do privates, then what happens then? And ultimately, you can't even be on the same team in parties. So, like, you can't even do the old matchmaking trick like we did for so long, where it was like, all right, 3, 2, 1, both teams search. Oh, we got a scrim. Because instead, it's just going to shuffle up your party after every game. So you'll have like high-level matchmaking rooms, which to me is actually lots of fun. I enjoy those types of scenarios where it's just 8 individually good players just constantly being shuffled around and tearing each other up all night.
Yep.
Like I'm actually kind of looking forward to that, getting in some good rooms like that, because you'll keep the same room going for several hours against the same people, which is always
What
fun.
if he keeps pairing you with grandma?
What was that?
What if he keeps pairing you with grandma?
Oh, grandma will get destroyed. All the grandmas will get destroyed. That's actually going to be my goal. I need to make my name something that references the amount of grandmas I'm going to destroy. Because it's going to be disgusting.
Oh,
That's the target, man.
I need to try to change my name.
I haven't made an account, right? So I have to...
Grandma Stomper, ZYN.
We need some just ridiculous names on our Wii accounts.
Drop the sticks, Grandma.
I wish there was an emoting game.
Drop the stick, Grandma.
So yeah, so I'm looking forward to playing it. I'll play it a bunch. I doubt I'll be playing in August, to be honest.
Yeah.
Highly doubt I'll be playing in August.
We'll see.
Maybe it's the shit. Maybe I end up getting super invested like I did in like Gotham, for example, or Monday Night Combat's probably the better comparison. Like if something like that is, if it's that good, who knows? All right, you want to talk about